quiet town nestled between the hills of Vermont, there lived an old woman named Margaret Greene. She was 87 years old, lived alone in a small wooden cottage, and always had a warm smile on her face. No matter the season, whether the snow piled up to the windows or the rain came crashing against the rooftop, Margaret always seemed happy. People often wondered how. After all, Margaret had lived through more than her share of sorrow. She lost her husband at 35 in a tragic car accident. Her only son passed away young from a rare illness. She had no close relatives left, no fortune, and yet she smiled at everyone who passed by her garden gate. One day, a young journalist named Emily, working on a documentary titled The Secret to Happiness, visited Margaret. "Margaret," she asked gently, "how are you always so happy, even after all that life has taken from you?" Margaret looked up from her knitting, her eyes bright like a winter morning. She motioned for Emily to sit beside her, then began to speak in her soft, seasoned voice. "You see, dear," she said, "life is not always kind, and it certainly isn't fair. I've cried rivers, I've shouted at the sky, but then I realized happiness is not what happens to you. It's what you choose to see in what happens." Emily blinked, intrigued. Margaret continued. "When my husband died, I wept for weeks. But one morning, I remembered the way he used to dance in the kitchen, and I smiled. I planted roses in his honor. Every bloom felt like he was still dancing with me. When my son passed," she paused, holding back a tear, "I thought I'd never smile again. But then I saw a boy in town reading the same book my son once loved. I bought him that book series, and every time he came back for another, it felt like a small piece of my son had returned." Emily whispered, "So, you find happiness in memories?" Margaret nodded. "And in moments. A warm cup of tea, a friendly neighbor, a bird building a nest on my windowsill. Life gives us pain, yes, but it also offers tiny gifts every single day. Most people are too busy looking for big happiness, a promotion, a new house, a perfect life, but happiness hides in the little things." She leaned closer, her voice almost a whisper now. "You want to be happy in every situation? Then stop asking, 'Why me?' and start asking, 'What now?'" Margaret's story stayed with Emily, and now with all of us. In a world that often spins too fast, her wisdom reminds us that happiness is not a destination, but a decision. No matter what you're facing today, loss, loneliness, or hardship, there is still something to smile about. Sometimes it's just a cup of tea and a bird on your window.